Should have made them stay late to call it late.
There's some,
Okay, call me in order. Begin with a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I apologize for the delay, but it wasn't my fault.
we do have a couple changes.
Okay, first item on the agenda is approval of the agenda.
Need to remove this one.
We need to remove the
Special legislation jail.
maintenance supplies. That's under D.
Additional appropriations. And then there are two additional transfers on here that were added since doing the agenda. Two more transfers. This one's new. And this one.
Okay, we have two additional transfers. One being on the second page, about midway down. General circuit clerk. Precinct board members to clerk. And then on the back page, we have general commissioner, administrative salary, 20,000 to software, 20,000. Those are additional transfers. Okay, anybody wishing to comment need to sign in. Yeah. I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda with these additions and deletions.
Motion has.
Motion by Keith,
Second.
second by Earl, or
Earl's got it.
all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried, 7-0. Okay, next item is approval of the minutes for October 3rd. This was a special meeting that we had.
I just want to make a comment that I like how detailed they are. Whoever's doing these, I appreciate it. Thank you.
I would entertain a motion to approve if no one has any changes or.
Motion made to approve it.
Motion by Paul. Second by
I'll second that.
Stan. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0. Next, we have approval of minutes on October 12th. I think, was everybody in attendance? I think Keith, Earl, Paul. I think everybody was in attendance for that. Has everyone had a chance to review those?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Keith to approve,
I'll second.
second by Earl. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries 7-0. Next, we have the approval of a special meeting on October 17th. I think there's a couple absent at that. I think Paul and Keith were absent at that one. Has everyone had a chance to review those?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Earl, second by
I'll I'll second that.
Stan, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Did you all vote for it? 7-0. Okay, next item on the agenda is additional appropriation. What? Oh, public comments. I think we had Jim Carter.
I'm working a little bit too hard today, but I apologize, I forgot that you guys would be here this early. What I want to talk to you about tonight is something that I'm going to be proceeding with in January. Basically, we're going right back to everybody knows what the county option dog tax is, 6-9-39 arguments over that. I'm starting to do the research again, and the information that I handed you was from the controller's office, and that's the information that from the state stating what counties actually have the county option dog tax. But if you see the highlights there, I contacted all but 2 of the counties so far, and 3 of those counties don't have that. So in reality, out of 92 counties, we've got 7 or less counties that are participating in this. My problem with this from day one is the fact is the county option dog tax was set up very fast to back in 2005 to eliminate the trustees when the existing governor at the time was trying to figure out a way to also take in dog taxes because the trustees did that. So I think it was ill planning, but anyway, here's the situation. Less than 10% of our counties even use this tax, okay? Less than 10%. You see 7 out of 92. And if you look at the populations of the counties that do so far, it's less than 5%. So what I'm planning on doing is actually starting now is going to the state legislature and talk to as many of the legislatures as that I can that have the same situations we have with problems with our dogs and our cats, especially our cats, to get rid of the county option dog tax. Because right now, with the county option dog tax not passed in Perry County, we cannot license dogs. And the only way we're going to get revenue at all to be able to handle the situations we already have is to get some kind of option. And I think the tax is not good. It should be eliminated. And I'm going to the legislature. And the reason I'm here tonight is because some of you know some of the legislatures, and I'm looking for a sponsor. You always have to have a sponsor to start with. And of course, I will use Steve Bartels if I can. I've got to talk to him about, I've already got to call into him, and I've got to lay this out so he'll understand what the problem is and what the situation is. And my situation is, I believe that if you have a very small percentage of counties that are participating in the tax, why not look about removing the tax? There's no need for it. The way it's set up now, as you know, county council has to pass the county option dog tax in order to license dogs. So first step is I've got to get a sponsor, and that's why I'm asking you to the people that you know in the legislature to look at this whenever I get it completed. I'm hoping, this is, by the way, you know, next year is a long session for the legislature, which means we got longer time and we can get more chance to get a bill in for them to pass. So right now, for instance, the shelter's full again, totally full. And there is no revenue for control. There's revenue for the shelter, for having animals that are put into the shelter, but you have no revenue for control. We have no revenue proposed in the budget for animal control officer, and no budget for any kind of animal control other than what we have for the shelter. Now, the way I see it, if we could license the people that have dogs and cats, not just dogs and cats, if we set up a license, then we can pay for the person that picks up the information of, okay, how many cats do we have? How many dogs do we have? That person can be paid through the licensing. But that's up to the commissioners and the county council how they want to set that up. So I've been looking at this for years and years and years, and I decided, okay, I'm going to be able to retire in January, president, finally. And so I'm going to have some time. So I'm going to do all all the work, the background work, and set it up for the legislatures. And if I can get, like I said, if I can get a sponsor, and I hope that since you all have information and you have friends in the legislature, that you can help me get these sponsors and get a co-sponsor, then we can start doing something about getting rid of this county option dog tax. It's useless. You can see right there, look at the numbers. And there's 2 counties I haven't even recontacted, LaPorte and Stark County. I'm sure LaPorte has it, but if you look at the numbers there, $10 and $2 over a 5-year, a 5-year, $10, they don't have a county option dog tax either, but I haven't contacted them. So like I said, we're talking about 5% of the population being burdened like this, and it's useless. So I know if you're new here, you may not know about 69-39, but you will because I'll be back. But the reason I'm approaching you is because it's the county council that has to approve the county option dog tax in order for us to have a license now. We can license cats though. There is no law that says we can't. The cities or the county cannot license cats. And we need to get on that quick because it's getting even worse. So, anybody got any questions? I just wanted to come to you real quick and put that in your heads.
Jim, do you have copies of what these counties that do utilize this, what they're doing? Because I'd like to see that.
Well, I've got a whole copy of the whole long copy. I got that from Janie Pope from the controller's office. But I said, I already went through this. She's got this information, and according to that, Jackson County, for instance, has county option dog tax. But you call the auditor's office, and they say they don't. So
they're just not enforcing it, or they're not.
Well, that's what I've got. I've got to get the state to get on the ball and contact every county and say, look, are you or are you not? So we have numbers. Once I've got those numbers, then I can go to the legislature. That's what I'm doing right now. So I just, it's going to take me the rest of this year to set this up so that I can talk to the legislatures and show them why we should get rid of this tax. And not only that, if you license, you're only licensing those people that have a dog or a cat. You're not taxing everybody that you don't have to. Plus, and as I use this example, say Carrollton, you go into Carrollton and a person's got they're feeding 8 cats, and you say, are these your cats? Yes. Well, okay, I'm here to let you know that you have to pay a license now. They passed this license. Oh, wait a minute. Only 2 of those are my cats. So all at once you can get a count of actually how many alley cats you got and how many actual cats you got. And that's the first thing we got to do. I did this 15 years ago, did a complete study on how many cats we have in the county. You've got to know the numbers of how many you've got before you can actually do anything. And then we can go back and I can beg you for money, say, in the county council and say, hey, we need some kind of control money. So anybody else got any questions?
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you for your efforts.
Thanks, Jim.
Look forward to your plan once you have more details.
Okay, first, the next item on the agenda is additional appropriations, special legislation, jail repairs, building and fixtures in the amount of $10,000. Oh, Alan.
Sure, they put that additional, you guys hopefully got the supporting documents, some of the things we have coming out. And I appreciate Jane and Katie getting that stuff together and sending that all over to you all ahead of time. We need you guys to do this. We've got some outstanding bills as well, so we're trying to get ahead of it, and so we don't have any late fees or anything like that. That's why we asked for the 10,000.
Okay, I think we appropriated around 30,000.
Oh God, that's, yeah, you'd have.
Is there a way, why is this not being paid out of like inmate or commissary?
I can show you right here what we've paid so far this year at commissary. And we have paid a bunch on commissary, and I got some big bill coming up with the 2 extra deputies and some equipment. So that's gonna cost me some money out of commissary.
I think there's, when I looked it up last, there was like around 94,000 left in the inmate housing, so it would be, I mean, I understand we have to pay this, but these are bills. I just would like to see it out of inmate housing instead of the special legislation, because that's that excess money from when the jail was paid off. And I know it can be used for that, but we need to stretch that money as far as we can. And technically, the inmate housing and the commissary are supposed to be used to help offset our budget. And if we can do that to make that money last longer, and I mean, if there are funds in commissary or inmate housing, I would prefer to see this additional taken out of that before we start on the
I'll be
county
glad to
fund.
share with you anything you want to know about the commissary. As you can see, I've already spent over $10,000 since July using for things. Jasper equipment, Charmex, Jasper equipment, Wabash, CRS, One Source, Dash.
I mean, I appreciate that. I think that's what the intent is, to help offset the county's budget.
Right.
So
But
whether
I
it's
do-
commissary or inmate housing fund, there's 94,000 in inmate housing. I would like to see
And,
this additional come out of.
And that's where I
out
get
of that.
confused sometime on that. I think some of that's already spoken for, like overtime. If we didn't have the overtime, I don't know what we'd do.
No, I thought you meant this building repair.
I know we got some grants for the body cameras. I know we use some of that and the tasers. So some of that's already accounted for, I believe so.
Do you have a budget for that? Like what's your expenses, like what you have left? Because 94,000 is, quite a bit. So
Yeah, I don't have that with me right now, no.
I just like
I'd
to,
have to look and see on what's available.
we probably need to know that at all, as often as we can too.
Like I said, I don't recall anything this year out of the special legislation at all. I didn't ask for anything. I don't think I asked for anything this year at all.
What is the
I'll let-
balance in special legislation?
Especially,
You want the fund balance?
Yes.
Well, we've spent, what'd you say, 55?
We budgeted 55, we've spent 40 something. I just went off that screen to get the cash balance and special legislation. Current cash balance in special legislation is $2,602,116.36. What was budgeted was 55, and we have spent in jail repairs and building and fixtures 36,100. We have spent $40,930.15, so just a little over 14,000 is left.
So what do we need additional appropriation?
Yeah, why is there?
We still
Hey,
got,
there might be, I don't know if they've got budget stuff.
do you have other expenses if you've incurred?
So we budgeted 55,000 for special legislation for jail repairs, and we spent 40.
Well, then we would need an additional appropriation.
But evidently they are saying they have spent more.
The 10,000 on top of the 14
Right,
that's left.
that's right, that whole budget for the year.
Trust me, I can only spend it on certain things for that, as you all know that. So it's not like I could use it for anything else.
I'll make a motion that we allow it.
Real quick question, the 10,000, that takes you through the rest of the year as far as you know. Okay.
I'm not gonna say
Okay, right.
absolutely,
I
if
make
something
sure.
happened tomorrow anymore.
Sure.
Um,
As of right now.
Yes.
I know
He's made a motion.
I know, I think of the special legislation as being designed to long-term building maintenance, which this is building repairs and fixtures, but you can start spending $55,000 every year and it won't take long till you can spend that down.
Trust me, I know.
But anyway,
I-
motion by Paul,
Motion by Keith.
or Keith,
I'll second it.
second by Paul. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Nay. I would
Aye.
like to see it come out of inmate housing fund. That's why I said nay.
So I appreciate that, but when you, I appreciate the 2 extra deputies. I want to be buying the vehicles out of there and as well commissary. I don't know that I have enough to cover all that with any kind of emergencies or anything like that. That's what scares me.
I just like to, if you could provide me the plan on what you have reoccurring expenses coming out of there, and I know that the amounts change because depending on how many inmates you have in there, but if I can just see what you have already, that you have want set aside for these vehicles or whatever it is.
I'll give you an example. I know one of them's like 15,000 just for overtime.
Yeah.
I've had an inmate in the hospital for the last 5 days. That's gonna take a bunch of my overtime, things like that.
Yeah, no, I understand. I just like to see that
Fuel
written
and
out so that we
everything.
know what's excess.
So if you don't do it, I got an answer for these bills.
No, they approved
It
it.
passed.
Oh, they did, I'm sorry.
I don't know what the vote was, though.
I think there was
I think so.
I don't know. how many-
48.
I was just saying, I said.
I think
no
it's
because I would rather
6 to
go on
1.
inmate
I
housing.
understand.
Not that I'm not
Which
supporting
way did you
paying the
vote,
bill.
Stan?
6-1, yeah.
You voted in favor?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I did want to cancel the other one. That was
All right.
bad. That should have been on there.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you.
Next, we have General Commissioners dedicated PSAP 911 dispatch in the amount of $46,555. Do you normally sign these?
I have a question on that. Does any of that have to be brought before the commissioner?
Was it?
That was decided on the joint meeting between the Perry County Council.
Is this to cover the loss for 2023?
That was the law for 2023. Council meeting was held on August the 25th. Joint council between the Perry County Council and the City Council. And it was agreed upon by the Perry County Council that they would pay the deficit. Although they could not do it at that meeting as far as appropriating, because we did not have that amount of money coming in at that time. That was $31,055. In addition to that was the $12,500 for the city of Cannleton and $3,000 for the town of Troy. What this does, it allows for the obligation that the two bodies, city council and county council, agreed to. If you wish not to do that, we cannot make the payments to the city of Tell City for the remainder of this year. But that was agreed upon at your joint council meetings.
I don't think they had any problem with paying it. It's more that if it was falling, they thought it should go for the commissioners before it went to us, I think is what.
And one thing about it, if we don't appropriate the money, the commissioners can't sign the claim.
This is coming out of the commissioner's
No, they-
department, and the commissioners should be able to approve this coming out of their department.
I think that's what we're saying.
And that's all, it's been,
But it's their budget.
I think normally, since this is a commissioner's department, that normally this would be signed by a commissioner.
Yeah.
And that way you would be aware of it.
Is that how it was handled in the past?
I
Or did the
think so.
administrator handle it?
No,
Because Teresa signed all those in the past.
I would
Teresa
have thought
signed
like
those.
a commissioner probably would have.
Those are all signed by Teresa in the past. So if you want to change something, let me know.
well, it has to go before the commission, that they don't know what's coming out of their budget.
I think that's all they're saying.
And it's
Oh, you want to
department
say
head
that it
would be the,
Yeah,
Goes to the commissioners first.
yeah. That's what they were saying, I think.
Because it's their budget, then they would send it to us for funding. We can say yes or no.
yeah.
I don't know if that's a
think
county-
We've been bypassing some steps here.
Additional appropriations were never on commissioner meetings, but minutes before. They were always on this, so.
That's basically what it's for.
All right.
So do we need to take it to the commissioners first and then bring it back here if they approve to send it
I
here?
mentioned it because we talked about that at one of the
Sure.
council meetings. I didn't know what the process was.
Yeah, I
We
think that,
knew this had to be done.
sure. I realize we have to pay it, but
You
I
have
think
to pay
to
it.
follow
Because it was already
the
agreed upon.
process, I don't want to get out of sequence. So if you could take it to the commissioners and then for their consideration, and then they would send it to us for the
Would I
payment.
take this or the commissioners do it? Because
Oh,
this
the
is not in
commissioners
my
can.
budget, so.
Yeah, the commissioners can do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It'd have to be paid by the end of the year.
I will send
We
an
are
email
holding
out.
payment at this time, yes.
I will send an
Yeah,
email
pay
out
that.
to all
Should be
departments
paid.
tomorrow that are all entities within the commissioner's budget to start forwarding these on to the commissioner president to handle them.
I'll make a
I think
motion to
that's
table it to the
So do
commissioners
the
after.
commissioners do the claims on them then for dispatch? We've always done the claims, but we'd be glad to stop doing that.
I would think so, since it's their budget.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, if we can get rid of it.
department,
that would be the
and then
appropriate
it has
process.
to
I
be
would think.
signed by the department head, which would be commissioner.
That makes me happy. Okay, thank you.
Appreciate
you,
it.
Steve.
Thank you.
Okay, so I guess we won't take any
Table
action on
that?
that.
You want to table it, David, or
I guess.
Table, and I'll add it to the 11/27 meeting.
motion made to table it?
Table.
Motion by
until
Paul to table,
11.
second by Keith. All those in favor of tabling till the November 27th meeting, signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries 7-0. Okay, next we have our general commissioners, ambulance services in the amount of $185,447.81.
Just gonna be the
I
same
don't
way.
have anything on
Do
that.
the same thing.
Just gonna be the same
Yes, you
thing.
do. I mean, right.
Same thing,
Same thing.
it's not even signed.
Is that the one that includes repairs to garage doors?
It's a
Yes.
totally same process.
Everybody's included on email.
That, to me, is not a part of the contract between the
Where is the
hospital and
contract?
the county.
There is no contract.
2014.
There is a contract.
Where is it?
Oh, I have a copy of it.
Nor does the hospital or nor does the auditor's office.
I have a copy.
They
of
should
it.
have, because that's where I got
You got a
mine.
copy of
Yeah, I
the,
requested it last year from the auditor's office. I can probably.
It's
forward
from,
it.
it's old.
yeah,
It's
I
like,
would love to
It's
have
just
one
old.
because
it's like
It's not- I mean,
2014.
yeah, it's from
it's
2014.
that's for the old EMS station up to the old hospital.
No, it was amended at one point too.
It was from the 80s, and then it went to 2014. They revised it, and so I have a copy of
Yeah,
that.
if you can send that to us, but we can't find it.
I have a copy of it also.
Responsible for repairs to that building, whether it's a hospital.
Sure. And that might be something, since it's so old, 2014, that we recommend to the commissioners maybe to relook at it even, and you guys to,
Absolutely,
Because, I mean,
it needs
it's-
to be
it's a
revisited.
little dated. So we need to be brought up to speed
It
on.
definitely needs to be
what the needs are.
revisited because it's vague, it's open,
But we very much support that.
yeah.
I would like, well, that's all right. It would be the same process, so it's out of the commissioner's budget, so you would have to go to them first and make the request, and then if they're in agreement to send it on to us for funding, then that's how that process would work.
Then
We
we'll
need
bring
to
it back
keep
to the
them
council
included.
We
meeting.
apologize, Jerry,
That's
Haley, Brandon, Steve. We apologize.
That's just to follow, we're trying to get back on the
Sure.
process.
So we're gonna table this one.
Yes, I'll make a motion to table.
I'll second it.
Motion by Stan, second by Kelly to table until the 27th. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries 7-0. Next, we have General Commission, care of patients
Same thing.
institutionalized.
Is that the same thing?
5,000. I guess that's the same thing.
If we could send that back to the commissioners to,
We haven't done that in 1 month yet. 1 month, we have not done this. And I have
We're gonna mess
I
around.
have people calling
We're
me
gonna lose
daily
this.
on these bills.
We're gonna be having to find a place to send our juveniles and people of care that need to be in institutions.
when's the next
This
meeting, the
bill is
21st?
due in September.
What'd you say?
The next commissioner meeting's the 21st, or,
Yeah, but we don't have a meeting unless we have a
The
special.
We have a
27th.
special
We
on
have
the
the
27th, so let's delay it another month.
yeah, that's, I mean, to follow the process, the
Yeah, we
same as
got-
what we just did for the last two, I think we should do that for this.
I don't
So I'll
know
make a
how
motion to
that
table
all
this
fell
as well and send it to the commissioners.
Motion by Kelly to table and send it to the commission. Second by
I'll second.
Stan. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
through. Aye.
Opposed, nay. 6-1.
It's their budget, it needs to go to them first and then us.
Next, we have recorder, general first deputy, $9.59, and the second deputy, $4.65. And this is just needed to adjust funding for wages due to being changed from salary to hourly. That was in the recorder's office. Would entertain a motion to
I'll make that
approve.
motion.
Motion McKelly, second by Paul. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0. I need a new agenda. I'll get down.
That's for the transfers.
Okay, that's that. Okay, next item is recorder salaries, requesting bonuses of $1,000 to 3 individuals, and retirement of $336, and $229.15 Social Security. This says one-time bonus for recorder and office staff while accomplishing back indexing project. Jane here?
Okay.
Uh,
One of our deputies.
Jane has got the stomach bug, and she couldn't come, so I'm here to represent and answer any questions
Glad
you
she
have.
didn't bring her stomach bug with her.
Me too. I am glad she didn't either.
Okay, I know we were just giving 5 and 10% raises, so now we're wanting a bonus.
That's what I would think.
Address all of them at one
Trying to
time.
address them all at one time.
Yeah, for this department, all this is.
What was the question?
I said we just gave 5 and 10% raises, now you're wanting a bonus?
This is kind of mirrored what you just passed a couple weeks ago to the prosecutor's office.
And we didn't pass that. That's what state statute.
Okay, that's what this is.
Right.
That's what this is. And I, just for the record, some of us have funds that we can transfer from, and it would be like the same thing as prosecutor. You wouldn't have to do anything with it. The recorder takes all of their stuff out of their perpetuation fund. So had she taken it out of there, you wouldn't have had to do anything with that either. But because she takes everything out of there, she didn't want to run it low. The same with the treasurer, they don't have a fund to take it out of. But what I wanted to point out is that in my budget, in the assessor's budget, there was a part-time person budgeted last year for 2023 in the amount of $17,166 in salary that's not going to be used in county general. So that would more than cover in county general without touching cash balances to cover those. Since they don't have a fund to take that out of.
Yes. There's actually a lot of departments that don't have a fund to take anything out of. And where my problem is, everybody has a job to do. They have requirements, whether they work Monday through Friday.
You're exactly right. Everybody does.
Can you let me speak,
Prosecutors all have
please?
jobs to do too.
Thank you. Please
And
let me
there's not a
speak.
question.
Please let me speak.
Not a question.
Please let me speak.
Go ahead.
This is not the same as the prosecutor's situation that was at the most recent meeting. She has a state statute that gives the prosecutors the authority. First of all, it's federal funds that goes to the state, so it's not the local funds. And she has a statute that gives her the authority, or the prosecutor, whoever that is, the authority to do certain things with those funds outside of this county council. And so that's why we did not have to say yes or no, because regardless of what we say, they have that power by the legislatures of the state. That's not the case for your accounts. You do have to come forward to the county, and we do have to look at that and approve or not approve. And so it's really not the same thing. My suggestion would be if
Did they not get a raise? Did they get a raise? They
My
got the same raise
suggestion
we
would
got,
be,
right?
if you want that
The
authority,
prosecutors got the
that you
same
go
raise
to
we
your
got,
state
right?
legislatures and you
It doesn't
lobby them
matter.
for that same
It's state
authority.
statute.
Because that's, you're saying we're making those laws and rules, and we're not.
I'm not saying you're making those laws
We
at
didn't
all.
vote
I
on
didn't
it,
say
we have no say over it, they have certain things, requirements, and certain things that they can and can't do with their funds, so that's not the same thing as this. And my problem with this is, not that I wouldn't love to give everybody a bonus, but I would love to give everybody a bonus if we had to do that. I can't just pick and choose winners and losers. I can't go to say these 3 or 4 departments can get it, but everybody else can't. Some departments collect fees. That's part of your job. I mean, that is part of the job description and the duties of the job during the 8 to 4 hours that you're already being paid for. So that's, that's not, I mean.
Glad you're not picking and choosing though. Okay, I'll go with
Yeah,
that.
okay, that's good.
Only question I have, I might be missing bits and pieces, so why was it brought to the council?
It shouldn't have been on the agenda.
It shouldn't have been
for
on the
Sam.
agenda.
That should not have been on the agenda for the prosecutor. That has nothing to do with us. She has a state statute that was provided that
They've
clearly
done this
says
in
the
the
county
past.
fiscal body has no say in what she does with those federal funds.
They've done it in the past, and it's never been on our agenda.
Because
This year
there's
it
nothing for us to
was.
approve or not approve, because we have no say in it regardless.
They've done that in the past, when I was on the
I think
council
there's
before.
certain things with the courts
they
that
did
they
that.
have their own state statutes that they, gives them certain authorities. Like I know the judicial side has certain things that they can do with different things, so. But again, I mean, if that's something that you're interested in with the fees, that you could absolutely go to the state legislators and lobby for them to put some kind of statute in place to where it gives you the authority to do as you see fit with the fees. I mean, that's absolutely, you can do that.
Can't the recorder do that with her perpetuation fund? If she wanted to give you guys a bonus, she can do it.
If she was just afraid of running it low, but yes, the recorder could have taken it out of the perpetuation fund and it would have been the same thing as the prosecutor.
Same way with you, Rachel.
Yeah, Rachel can do
Some
it,
of your
yes.
funds, and you can do it without cap.
No.
I got that 40
Yes, you
incentive
can.
too,
Yes, you
that
can.
the
Recorder in.
prosecutor's office has.
No.
But I was also told with Dossett Consulting that it was being done wrong. And I don't know what that means. I mean, he just told that we cannot get a full bonus out of our 40 incentive. And that
I don't know
the
if
same
she's
thing
talking
for
about doing
the
that.
prosecutor's office too. I don't know, but my
No,
figure,
that's
that's
what
what
40
the
incentive.
Yeah.
Dossett
She's not talking
She has
about
40
that.
I'll
incentive.
get a clarification.
She has 40, the clerk has 40 incentive funds also, so she can do that. And what she's saying is Dossett's saying that if, what they informed us, which I'm just going by what they told us, that if you take money out of that 40 incentive, you have to do matching
Out of another fund.
out of another fund. You can't take it 100% out of 4D, but
Well, we didn't approve that, so I don't know, that's something. So I'm personally not in favor of this. Again, if I could give everybody a raise and we had that kind of, or not a raise, but a stipend, I guess is what I would call it, then I would be in favor of that. But I can't justify it for 4 departments, nothing against your department. It's just I can't look at law enforcement and say, well, you guys write tickets, but you're not getting anything back for, they have fees too, it's just in a different way. And what about the highway workers? They don't have an opportunity to collect fees, but they do other things that they're responsible for. So that's why I stand on that. So I'm not in favor of that.
Any other discussion?
Is this a one-time thing?
Correct.
never been done before. We'll never ask again.
I really think if
Has prosecutor done it before?
We had heard, we had just heard that they haven't done it for the past 6 years, but I also heard that wasn't the case either. So I have no idea. I really don't know.
I can speak on that. I was prosecutor for one. The prosecutor does have the power to
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
It's independent of the council. The budget that the prosecutor has allows him to do that.
Yeah.
If he has excess funds. Now, some of these guys run it to the limit, so they don't have any money. But if you run it, in a good way, you should have a little extra money to help your people out.
Well, the thing about it is, whether it's federal money, state money, or local money, it's all taxpayers' dollars.
Well, what I think is if you're prepared to do it for these 4 departments, every other department could potentially show up the next meeting and demand the same thing. And they wouldn't be wrong, I don't believe. But that's my opinion.
cross that bridge if we come to it. I'm gonna make the motion to allow it.
Do I have a second to that? Seeing none, I think the motion died.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, do we want to take, does that take care, we just want to do the treasurer now, or we take care of them all at once?
I should do them individually, I think.
Okay, now we're doing the treasurer then. That was the recorder. Same scenario, same amount, same reasoning, one-time bonus.
Okay, you taking one, which one you on, David?
I'm on the treasurer. This is the additional appropriation.
Make a motion to allow it.
Motion by Paul to allow. Do I have a second? Seeing none, motion dies. Next, we have circuit court compensation, pauper attorney in the amount of $147,000.
Is this all the invoices we have?
There's, this is all the things, yeah, whatever.
I think we still owe some that we're paying like $5,000 a month, starting in November until paid in full.
I know there was like a special circumstance this year, that probably won't be next year. But I believe, if I'm looking at it correctly, we've paid out $340,000, somewhere in there, in pauper attorney fees, and this is a request for another $147,000 to pay the bills. So we're getting close to $500,000, and I just want to remind everybody that we only budgeted $150,000 next year.
They say it's gonna be a lot less, it must be.
It's very concerning. So, I'll make a motion to approve this pauper attorney fee. We do have to pay that.
Second.
Motion by Kelly, second by Paul, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries 7-0. So next we have Riverboat Consulting Services in the amount of $8,000.
This
Okay.
is for Baker Tilly.
No, I'm a little confused on this because we paid something early in the year, right?
Yes, that is for all of the budget.
For it was like $5,000.
570901. There were two, right? One day. and then-
That is all that we got billed for budget,
So what's this for?
for budget. The other was for
Oh, you got that
AFR.
much for budget?
You mean annual financial report was the first
The
one?
first part was the annual financial report. That's for all the consulting that we received on budget.
Okay. And
Next
then we had
year,
budgeted 10,000 next year, right?
Yep.
And each year we're probably gonna be spending a little less.
we
as
shouldn't, I think I learned a heck of a lot in budget this year. I think we all did. But with all the phone calls and questions, that's
So
where
you
we're
have-
at.
You have bills for this. You already have bills for 8,000. So
That's
it's not like,
right under it's right under 8,000.
so it's not like there'll be a,
No,
That should be it, Mark.
yeah, it's like 7.9. Actually got it here. It's like 7,800, and I just did that because I didn't know if there'd be a couple more phone calls that'll be added on, and I didn't want to have to come back for a little bit
I
more.
just had one more thing, and maybe I'm not looking at it right because it's the riverboat, but is it 068? Is that out of the commissioners? That might be the same kind of thing. We have to take it to them and then bring it back on the 27th.
Yeah, that is.
Riverboat,
Would that be right too?
that's commissioners, yep.
Okay, can we do the same thing and table it and then just bring it back with the others? I'll make a motion to table that. Send it to the commissioners just so that they then can send it to us, just to follow that process, so.
Okay, motion by
Second that.
Kelly to table, second by
I hope these commissioners are gonna be checking their email pretty well.
Stan. All those in
Because
favor,
Last
signify
I
by saying
checked,
aye.
the administrator did all this before, so. So I hope they're Johnny on the spot.
Quick meeting's turning into a long meeting.
Huh?
They're likely short agendas turning into a long agenda.
That's all right.
Next, we have appropriation transfers. Perry County Circuit Court, postage of $770, court reporter, $374. Oh, that's going to court reporter, $374, and to probation secretary, $0.22, and to judge court reporter, $3.74. That's just,
I'll make a motion to approve that.
just transferring money unused from one account to the other.
A second.
Motion by Kelly, second by Earl. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries 7-0. Next, we have soil and water, Deer Creek Lake, from Deer Creek Lake of 1047 to District Secretary Treasurer for 1047. There again, that's just a
Motion made to allow.
I'll second that.
motion by Paul, second by Keith. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Motion carries 7-0. Next, we have Circuit Court, Circuit Clerk, from precinct board members of 4,000 to voting system support services in the amount of 4,000. That was Rachel.
Remember, she had put the
Right.
additional appropriation and removed it.
Motion to approve.
Motion by
I'll second
It's a
that.
transfer.
Keith, second by
Stan's got it.
Stan. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0. Okay, now we have the general assessor where she was transferring.
This is
Oh,
one
I'll talk about that one.
They were wanting the bonus. They got the transfer. These two are just transfer.
What's this?
That's where you're at.
I can probably print you a copy.
This one? Oh, the clerk. Precinct board members, transferring from precinct board members in the amount of 5705.55 to clerk 1,000, to clerk first deputy 887.20, to clerk second deputy 2317.70, to clerk part-time deputy 462.40, to social security 422.25, and to retirement $616. This is also the, I guess, the one-time bonus.
Motion made to allow it.
I think two separate.
Here's who added that.
Yeah.
Don't have that on it.
David, are we doing the one that's added or?
Yes, it's the one
Just
that's
that one
added.
only?
Yeah.
Just that one right now? And can you read that again?
Okay, it's, taking, this is a circuit, the clerk, circuit clerk, taking precinct board member, 5705.55 to clerk in the amount of 1,000, to clerk first deputy 887.20, to clerk second deputy 2317.70, to clerk part-time deputy 462.40, to social security 422.25, and to retirement $616.
Okay.
Motion made to allow it.
Motion by Paul to allow. Second by. Motion dies for lack of second. Next, we have general, Next, we have the assessor. Part-time employee, from part-time employee, $3,565.50 to assessor, $1,000 to assessor first deputy, $1,000 to assessor second deputy, $1,000 to social security, $229.50 to retirement, $336. This again is the request for the one-time bonuses plus retirement and social security.
Motion made to allow it.
Motion by Paul to allow. Second by. No second. Motion dies for lack of second. Next, we have general auditor. From auditor second deputy 3,000 to auditor 1,000 to auditor first deputy, 1,000 to auditor financial deputy, 1,000. This again is the one-time bonus without social security and retirement.
Motion's made to allow it.
Motion by Paul to allow, second by, motion dies due to lack of second. Next we had, this is the additional from administrative salary to software in the amount of $20,000. This is from the commissioner's budget.
This is for that time and attendance software. I'll make a motion to approve.
It'd be the same thing.
Did that go before?
He has the paperwork. I had him sign that one.
So it was the one from earlier this year?
No, they gave a verbal, but we
Okay.
gotta do the actual transfer.
I would just table it, put it
Table
with
it till
that.
the other
Yeah,
ones?
just with the others, to be consistent with that. I'll make a motion to take, well, sorry, he made a motion already, so.
Who made the motion?
Keith made
I
a
made a
motion to
motion to
approve
pay
it.
it.
To
I'll
what?
second that motion to pay it.
Okay, motion to pay
I mean,
by
needs to go back to the
Keith, second by Paul.
the commissioners verbally agreed.
Can we,
said fine,
I mean, it's
so-
no different than the other things. We need to be consistent, send it back to them, and then they, on the 21st, their meeting, they can consider it, and then if it comes back to us on the 27th, it can be approved, so I'm not in favor of that.
So from tonight's meeting on, we're gonna start,
I have less work.
Yeah.
I'm
it
just
sounds
gonna-
like
It's gotta go through the commissioners.
it hadn't, tonight's the first night.
Well,
I think that's an appropriate process, so we probably need to start
I'm
that.
glad, I don't have a problem starting new.
Actually, all the other departments sign off on these requests.
Yeah.
And the commissioner says, is a department, it should be treated the same.
Like I said, I don't have a
Yeah.
problem, but tonight's that starts a new game.
So you made a motion to approve,
Yes.
and Paul seconded it. Any other discussion? I would call for a vote. All those in favor of paying tonight, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Nay,
no,
just send it to the commissioners.
That's
and
4-3.
Come back.
Or, I don't know how Gail voted.
Nay.
Oh, it's 5-2 then. All right, next,
You need to make a motion. Need to do the table motion.
oh, yeah, we did, I guess we didn't pay
Yeah,
it.
we just-
So does someone want to make a motion to table then?
I'll make a motion to table that.
Motion by Stan,
Second.
second by Gail. All those in favor of table until the November 27th meeting, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Nay.
Hey,
5-2. Next item is 2024 board appointments with terms ending 12/31/23. Normally, we make these the first meeting in January,
Well,
but
this
when you get
is,
started with it,
They need to
yes.
be advertised, but.
Yeah.
I got that email you sent Chris with the attachments, and it was,
I wanted to make sure
There's
you
a-
guys reviewed all of that. We are in the process, I brought it to the commissioners meeting. We are in the process of advertising all that, but I wanted you guys to
review it.
I think there's a couple that were just like previous elected officials that their names were on there, but they're not the one that's on the board now, so I can email those to you.
I'll look at it more closely
It
too.
wasn't a lot, it was just.
Well, it's been very unorganized, so
Yeah,
That
it's,
we're
has
trying
been.
to get it
I mean,
organized.
with the 3 attachments, everything, I thought, oh my, this is kind of a.
Yeah.
Situation.
It's trying to
great,
get
it's a
us,
great update,
trying to get
very
it
great,
organized.
very good job.
Next, so everybody needs to take a look at those, and if you see anything that looks wrong, get with Chris.
And I think that we should go ahead and get the word out, them openings towards the first of the month.
Well, yeah.
Where we can,
Well, I was waiting. I know we've done all the commissioners advertised. I mean, we're just getting all those on there now. I just need to get your approval to advertise all the councils.
I'll make a motion to allow the Chris to advertise or open appointments that we're gonna have coming January 1st.
Motion by Keith,
Second.
second by Paul. All those in favor of Chris advertising council appointments?
I'm okay with that. as
Upcoming,
long as
yeah.
if
see what
there's
I
any
say, aye.
corrections, then-
Right.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0. Our next meeting is November 27th at 12.
Okay, one thing I'd like to bring up before we jump into an adjournment,
We have something else.
especially after tonight's passing on or passing back, however you want to call it. Next year, first of the year, we ought to consider moving our meeting in between their two meetings to where we're not having all this shuffling back and forth, and it's looking ridiculous. I mean, money not being appropriated. I mean, we need to start having a meeting in between their meetings to where we can make the appropriations to where the money's in the accounts, to where it's not debated.
Currently, commissioners meet what, the first?
You need to switch to go the third. Currently, right now, let me pull my email up. It's, I don't want to get confused on it. Currently, right now, sorry, give me 1 minute.
It's just gonna help everybody out instead of paying bills late. And Chris having to explain to people why the bills aren't getting paid.
That all depends on how everything falls.
Well, that people understand that, but after 2 months, it's kind of,
Find it, okay. I don't know, I'm not popping up the right way. Okay, council changed from the fourth Thursday to the third Thursday, and commissioners go from the third to the fourth. Flop those. Is that right? Did I say that right?
the only issue I have with that would be early with your appointment. Did you not say that your meeting does,
It's on Wednesday.
okay, good deal. So we can change it if
Well-
everyone's in agreement.
We'll look at that the first of the year. That's when we would do our
Well, something for
reorganization.
everybody to think about.
Yes.
Because, I mean,
We can think about it and see how it kind of makes sense. I don't know if it will help or not.
We can always change it anytime.
No,
well, I mean, we need to be consistent.
we've always scheduled our meetings, the first of the year at our organizational meeting.
You can have that on there.
Could be changed. Okay.
So everybody can think about that.
Well, you mean the organizational meeting?
Well, the organizational meeting will be like we've always
It's gotta
done it.
be, yeah, in January.
But as far as setting, if we want to change our meeting times, we would do it then.
Yeah,
But we can be thinking about what
yeah,
Chris is saying, what Keith has said. See how that would work.
yeah.
That's why I did. I was just putting it out for thought
Right.
so people could start
Thinking about it.
thinking about it. And January is going to be super busy. And I got the message regarding January, which I knew we did, but I knew we didn't have any elections. So I thought maybe,
Right.
I'm completely fine whenever we do it. But I just wanted us to put that thought out there because,
The only thing, this is a non-election year for us.
Yeah.
But if we change it this year, but next year is election year, so
You have
then
to
we'd be
wait till
changing
January.
back. We'd be
well, it's not
changing
changing.
back.
You just do one in January and do the.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you'd be changing it.
Yeah.
'Cause
Huh?
You'd be changing it.
Yeah. Well, it's a non-election year for us,
Right.
so, and there's several, like I said, I just think the board appointments is not, I was here for this last year's board appointments and no one knew anything. It was super unorganized and it's a lot to get done, so,
I worked with Teresa on those, but
it was super unorganized this year.
it probably was last year too for that matter. Any other discussion or anything else come before the meeting? If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion made to adjourn.
Second,
Motion by Paul, second by Keith to adjourn. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay.
Those motions. I didn't even hear
I think Paul and Keith. It was 7-0.
it. God.
Oh, I understand. That's okay. We'll pray for you.